infertility generally is a situation where a couple who have regularly engaged in sexual relationship are unable to conceive after, we're talking about 1 year, but by and large, majority of women or men and couples who are in a relationship, 84%, about 85% of them will get pregnant by the time 1 year elapses. And if you push this to 2 years, then more than 93% will get pregnant within that period. So, but for the purpose of support and then operationalizing, then we talk about 1 year. So basically, infertility is now that group that have excluded, that are not able to get pregnant, even though they're engaged in having a healthy sexual relationship. The causes are slightly varied and different, but largely in our setup, again, when you talk about anything that will interfere with either the seeds of the man and the woman meeting, or if they meet and the environment is hostile, they cannot implant and grow to maturity, or a situation where probably the seeds are defective. So basically, those are the major causes of infertility, which in our setup, the underlying issues usually you find infections, pelvic infections, sexually transmitted infections contribute a lot to that scenario where that spectrum is interfered with. IVF is one of those procedures that when now you realize that the couple needs assistance for the egg and the sperm to meet and form, fertilize and form an embryo, then you support. At times you have the internal where you have the internal where it is processed sperm is taken inside to meet the ova, or you have now both eggs and sperm harvested, whether from the couple or from a donor, and they are subjected to an artificial environment outside, whether it's in a tube or in a petri dish, and fertilization takes place, and then it's taken back either into the mother or to a surrogate. Now this is basically what we're talking about, IVF. I'll say that do we have assisted reproductive technology in Kenya? Yes and no. Yes, we have a few centers, mainly in the capital, that are offering IVF services, assisted ART services in Kenya. Can list them most largely they are private sector, but we have Kenyatta National Hospital Fertility Center, that's also, and of course we also have Aga Khan University. The universities are trying to play a role in this field, but largely the other about 7 others are mainly in the private sector. And I know, so if you're talking about do we have them, yes, we have them in Nairobi. The cost is a major issue, so probably the women who have the means and probably who are informed in Nairobi will have access. The woman who is from the village, who has a higher chance of developing the STIs that we talked about that leads to this infertility, probably will not know about it, or even if they do, may not have the means and ability to access the facilities. So it's both a yes and no. Issues of reproductive health, including infertility, there are a lot of sociocultural undertones. They go beyond healthcare. Yeah, so you find either from how they come about to what can be done about it, and the effect that they have on the lives of the people that are actually undergoing the problem. As a government, right, currently, the Ministry of Health, we are revising our reproductive health policy. So our new reproductive health policy addresses the issues of fertility, but also now we're looking at how can we create a system that also takes care of these women who would like to have babies. And so the policy talks to that, we are looking at looking at the possibility of expanding access so that we can have the necessary human resource, equipment, and financing for fertility care. We are thinking initially for regional centers where this can be offered to improve access so that it is not only offered in Nairobi as currently is. The only final thing I'll say that, yes, prevention. Primary prevention will be key towards addressing, because you go to developed countries, it is the opposite. Yes, the infections are contributing only 20%. 80% of the infertility will be out of those other factors that we're talking about. So very low levels, and we need to look at those aspects so that we also prevent. Yes.